Today we're going to talk about redesigning your whole life in 1 year. And I'm talking your whole life. And it can be done. I've done it more than once in my life too. So not just the one time that it worked. I've faced many situations in life where I just needed a complete rebrand, you know what I mean, of my entire life. And today a friend of mine reached out and she said, I could tell you've lost weight. I've been watching your videos. I could tell you've lost weight and whatever, so many changes for you. And God, I'm just getting fatter and I'm so tired and I hate my job and just everything was shitty. You know what I mean? And I've been there. I've been there. And it broke my heart because so many times I've been there and have prayed for the answer or wished for the change or, you know what I mean? Whatever. And it didn't happen. So the anguish of 1 year turned into half a decade of anguish and stagnation and whatever. And sometimes it takes like a breaking point. Something happens usually that triggers the I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired feeling, or you have this moment of illumination where I've really fallen off my path in life. I'm in the wrong job, I'm in the wrong marriage, I'm in the wrong everything, I'm in the wrong body. I didn't used to look like this, you know what I mean? Like all these things, kind of happen to us sometimes in life. And, sometimes we're just oblivious to it. So we don't realize how much we've fallen off our path until everything feels like it's crumbling around us, or we feel like we're crumbling under the weight of everything. And especially if this involves being unhealthy. So if you've made unhealthy choices, which now has you in an unhealthy body. I remember being so obese, I had to think about how I was going to roll over. Like I used to have to build momentum to be able to roll my body over. So when I mean I was obese, I was obese. And my mom was worried about me. My dad was worried about me, And I thought that was the only problem. I didn't realize that that was a symptom of so many other things I was hanging on to that was dead weight in my life, And I had this one day where I was pushed to such an extreme. I was actually in fear for my life that day. It took that. It took for me to be in fear of my life, for me to finally say, what are you doing? What are you doing here? And I was at home. That's where I was in danger, was actually at home. But I was getting bullied at work, and not even by coworkers. My actual family that I work with are brilliant. It's the industry was going through changes because of this big Goliath who thinks they can come in and start, railroading everybody. And at first I was just scrambling to survive, but I wasn't challenging the paradigm. I wasn't fighting back. I wasn't changing my life at home, even though it was dangerous. I wasn't, really filling my potential as a woman. Like there were so many things that I was behind on, and that included diet and exercise. And everything crumbled. My thyroid fried, everything in life got escalated, and my husband actually ended up going crazy and getting locked in a psych ward. So it took that, to finally be like, okay, I'm not just going to change the marital situation. Like, if I'm, upsetting my life to this degree, then I'm going to burn the whole thing down like a forest fire and start from scratch. And in 1 year, in 3 weeks, there was a transformation. In 6 weeks, there was another transformation. At 1 year, it was another transformation. And at 2 years, it's another, transformation. So it does keep growing. You know what I mean? It's like, who was it that singer that had the song Peeling Back the Layers Like an Onion Girl, right? You're like an onion and you're just peeling everything back. And that's exactly what it feels like. And then the inner you somehow, emerges from that. And you can do it in a year. You can change your entire life in a year. I know somebody that I'm Facebook friends, and they got married, moved across the country, sold everything, moved across the country, started their own business, and went from being broke to living in paradise and doing very, very well. And they did it on a whim, eh? They didn't move with any security. And everything blossomed. They took the risk and everything blossomed, and their life feels totally different. 1 year. What it is that first, once you're in it, like once you're in the life change thing, then momentum takes over and you're not tortured over having to change your life because you're in it and you're changing your life. And a little bit at a time, you start to see the changes, and then they get motivated for more changes. That makes you brave, and then you go all out. But it's just the getting started, the telling my husband the marriage was over, that once I did that, I was good. Once I got the words out, but until I got the words out, I was a disaster. And my career, as long as I was trying to be diplomatic and oh well and whatever, I got railroaded. As soon as I started fighting back, people started listening. It gave me gravitas to say, hey, this is stupid. I was scared to do it before because I was the only one to say it. But now I say it, and I get people that private message me saying, well done, I wish I had the balls to do that. So in career, that changed everything. And then that, getting rid of the husband or that bad relationship gave me the energy, because I was no longer being weighed down by being miserable, to fix my health. So I took the walks, because for me, walking was part of my mental health, dealing with the anguish, the pain, and everything else. Because in his situation, like I said, he ended up in a psychiatric facility. I felt like I was becoming a widow. I didn't feel like the guy cheated on me and I left. I slowly watched him disappear until he was a shell of the man he was, and was unrecognizable. So I felt like I was becoming a widow. There was a lot of grief there, tons of grief, and trauma, because the last few weeks with him, months with him, were very traumatic. So, I had a lot to process, and walking was the thing for me. And I changed my diet drastically too, because I didn't have somebody else in the house that wasn't eating healthy. Suddenly I was on my own. Now, you don't have to be on your own to do this. Like for example, when I met the man I'm with now, I was already on the healthy lifestyle and was being very disciplined about it, and he wasn't. But him watching me live this way made him, now he's more disciplined than I am, which is annoying because he's losing weight faster than I am. But your positive examples sometimes will rub off on the people around you. In my case, the marriage I was in was really extreme, and had been for years and years and years. I was just I was a doormat. I was a doormat. And the same way emotionally I was a doormat, I turned myself into a physical doormat, even to myself. And the change happened overnight. It takes a year for you to see all the new job come, the new relationship come, the new body show up, all that takes some time. But the actual anguish of where you were stops the second you say, guess what? I am sick and tired of being sick, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm done being miserable. I'm done being a doormat. I'm done being unhappy. I'm done. And I understand that it's only me. Nothing's going to come that's going to save me from this misery. I have to figure this shit out. So maybe for you, it's a diet and exercise. Maybe it's finally getting another job. Maybe it's being done with the job bullshit and starting your own business. Passive income is easy to create. The thing is, we can't get past the job. You think you have to have a job or you're never going to make money. That is so not true. That is so not true. We live in a world full of money and full of ways of making money. What you need is the willingness to hustle. That's what the problem is, the willingness to hustle, because the same way, you're not going to lose weight until you work it off or change your diet. You're not going to be happy in life until you see your worth and start living to your highest potential. You're not going to feel satisfied with yourself until you stop the bullshit and stop the excuses and do what you have to do to get your life organized. Everything stays shitty until you decide. When I realized that my house was too cluttered, and that it was a symptom actually of some of the stuff I was talking about that was left over, some leftover baggage I hadn't dealt with, and I had that awareness. It's not that I felt better once I got everything cleaned. As soon as I had the aha moment, the feeling of getting psyched up. I remember I was watching the Marie Kondo series on Netflix, and I was about 3-4 episodes in, where I still didn't have that feeling. I was looking at them jealous that the people on the show were getting their shit together, And I wish I had a Marie Kondo, even though she was teaching me everything I needed to know in the show, right? On repeat, because it was the same format every single episode. I'm 4 episodes in, and I'm still poor me mode, right? I wish I could have a Marie Kondo. Episode 5, 6, I start realizing that, wait a minute, she goes in and gives these people advice, which I just heard, but they're the ones that actually do the work, not Marie Kondo. So what is stopping me from doing the work? And once I had that, I could do this myself illumination, all the negativity, all of it, the clutter, the baggage, all of it, just everything, the hating myself for it, the judging myself, the anxiety, the oh my God, it's going to be so much work, all of that disappeared. And all I could think of was, it's going to feel so good. This is going to feel so good. It's going to be so good for me. And that feeling got so intense that then I couldn't not do it. I felt compelled. I was up till 2 in the morning working on that stuff and never got tired. Compelled. I was physically compelled to act. I became physically compelled to leave an unsafe situation, as sad as it was to do that. I had to, it was like I was swimming with a drowning person, and I reached a point where I understood that if I did not kick them off, I was going to drown with them. And when I left him, I remember sitting down and talking to myself and saying, Daniela, no one would blame you if you went into a big depression. No one would blame you if you didn't get disciplined, if you mourned for a while. And not that I didn't mourn, but nobody would blame me if I took the year off, you know what I mean? And so I became very disciplined at not allowing my being sad to stop what I needed to get done for myself. So I put all my energy into changing the diet, changing the lifestyle, getting more education, doing personal development, doing personal healing, and when it came to the business, because that was last. First it was all the other stuff. And then I had a situation where my father had died twice on the table with doctors. They had to resuscitate him, and it was over something that the Toronto police had done to him shortly before. Or at least what they did started the thing of events that caused my father to get incredibly ill, and again die and have to be resuscitated twice. He's still with us, by the way. But in that moment, I remember getting a text saying, we don't think he's going to make the night. And my dad was trapped in another country. We couldn't get him out. We don't think he's going to make the night. And the business was struggling because we were being bludgeoned by this Goliath. And right when he was at his worst, I got attacked the most. And there were organized crime elements also in this industry, and they saw a moment of my vulnerability and they attacked. So I had the anguish of my father, attacks from the government, and attacks from our organized crime, and I'm really trying to do the right thing here in the industry. And everybody who should be helping me wasn't. They were undermining my efforts. And so I fell into this moment where I was so broken. I will never forget this. I was in the backyard. I was pacing. It was the middle of the night. And I just felt so small. Like, like a bug that was, hanging onto a windshield of a car on the highway. That's how I felt. And it was like, this could end me. I could lose everything. At that point, I'd already left the husband and rebounced from that. So I was trying to be okay. And this, right at that time, came and squeezed me. And I thought I might lose my mind myself. I really, really was brought to the brink of breaking. And I thought, this could do it. Because I may never come back if I let this kill me, I may never come back from this. And this is just like a year ago when I decided to leave him. You know what I mean? Just like 10 years ago when I decided to change careers or whatever it was. I'm having that moment right now. So am I gonna fall and just live day to day until they eat me alive and I'm done? Or am I going to get angry enough? In this case, I needed to get angry. Am I going to allow myself to reach the pit I got to get to inside where I can pull that last bit of out of me to survive this and change everything? And I remember in that moment, I was overcome with this feeling, and it was dark. It was not like a light la. It was dark. It was like some great beast coming out of the ground through me. And it was overpowering, but very empowering, where I suddenly realized the grit that I had inside me and the monster that I had the capability of becoming in that moment. And that not only was I capable of it, it was intoxicating. It wasn't just this scary thing I had to try and pull off. It became my resonance. And it was intoxicating and beautiful. And I realized in that moment that all of these things that I saw as obstacles and whatever were illusions. They were only there because I allowed them to be. They only had credibility because I gave them credence. And as soon as I rose mentally, not physically, mentally, above the fray of their bullshit, I started getting illuminations and strategies and information coming to me. It was like a higher power was involved, because the synchronicities that came to me were so stellar, and the opportunities that were given to me to rectify or start to make a change or to have a voice were suddenly available. The platforms became available that weren't there before. Opportunities in work and opportunities personally as well. And again, now it's been 2-3 years since that drama, and it's been complete transformation, and I'll probably transform another 10 times. You think I want to keep doing this job that's so toxic and miserable and I'm fighting all the time? I said it the other day, I was going through something. I needed to call lawyers and all this stuff, and it was really tense, and my boyfriend said, how many times do you have to call a lawyer when you're dealing with your oils? Never. In 5 years, half a decade, never. How often are you angry when you're dealing with your oils? How can you be? The worst thing that's happened to me in my Young Living business was I had prospected someone for a year and she signed up with somebody else. And that might be the worst thing, and trust me, it sucks. When it happens to you, you'll be pissed, right? That is the worst thing I've ever faced at Young Living. You can change your life. You can change your body. I mean, there's some things that happen to us that, damn it, we just have to come to accept. I wasn't gonna get rid of my brain injury because I didn't want it. You know what I mean? It was horrible. And it left me debilitated, very much so. But what I could do is stop crying about the fact that my life wasn't the same anymore, and I could create a new life that better suited my new body, because I certainly felt like I got a new body after I got my concussion. So acceptance, yeah, is amazing. But don't accept so much so, because if I had accepted everything about my injury, at first I was upset that it happened, and I couldn't get over the fact that I couldn't go on stage anymore. I couldn't walk alone without a cane anymore. All of those things. I couldn't accept those things, and that put me into a huge depression. As soon as I became accepting of it, I was able to change. But having said that, my doctors were trying to convince me that I was never going to improve. I would need a cane for the rest of my life. Nothing was ever going to get better. And all it was that most people don't have what it takes to do the physio to come back from what I was going through. That I'm not 90% of people, honey, and you don't have to be either. And if you've always felt like there's got to be more to life, like I got to be here for a reason, there's a reason. You just forgot it. You just forgot it. And there's ways that you can find your purpose too. And maybe one day we'll do a class on that here. But you can change your life, all of it. And if it's like, well, Danielle, I got so much to change, I don't know where to start somewhere. Sometimes the new job leads you to the new social circle, that leads you to the new lifestyle changes, that lead you to the new body, that might make you find the new relationship. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's a cyclical thing. You don't have to fix it all at once, but tackle one. Tackle one. Start walking 20 minutes a day, if nothing else. You know what I mean? My mom, her knees and her hips are bad, and now she's got bad feet. She does chair yoga and goes to some senior center to learn chair fitness and sweats like a pig when she does it. It's possible. So no excuses. You can't afford a gym? What do you need a gym for? YouTube's free. Just do it. Do planks. Oh, you don't need a gym. Just do a plank challenge. That'll change your whole body. You know, you don't need, it's so many excuses. I can't do it because I don't have this. I can't, you know, planks are free. Doesn't cost you nothing to do a plank, but it will change everything. So there's got to come a point in your life, doesn't matter how overwhelming all these changes are, like the lady I know that I told you, ended up selling everything they owned and moved to another part of the country on a risk, started over, and it's the best thing she ever did for herself. You can change anything you want. It's getting out of the limiting box that you're in that tells you you can't, that tells you that you're stuck, that says, but, bullshit. I fought the mob and won. Bullshit. If I could fight the mafia, you could lose 10 pounds. Have a great day, everybody. Hey, Johnny. Oh my God.